Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I have a video for you guys that's going to be all about my Invisalign experience. I think this video is going to be helpful for a lot of people who are maybe considering getting Invisalign, or they just got it and they kind of want to know how this journey is going to be. So this is going to be a very detailed video about my personal journey, getting Invisalign, the cost, the visits, all that kind of information, and the care as well. Let's just go ahead and get started with this video. So I'm gonna first talk about why I wanted Invisalign and what made me consider getting Invisalign. So before I started my Invisalign journey, I wasn't too self-conscious about my teeth. I just knew that I had my gaps between my teeth, and it wasn't anything too crazy. I didn't have a lot of overcrowding, and my teeth weren't bad, but they just had a lot of gaps, and I did have a tiny bit of crowding at one of my bottom teeth, and apparently I had an overbite. I didn't really know, but my dentist told me about that. And when we were discussing my treatment plans for my Invisalign, what was going to be expected, they said that they would just fix all that all together. Before, I really didn't have any problems with my teeth. It just, I think slowly and gradually, I just wanted to get straighter teeth, and I thought it would just look nicer on me. I do have a bit of a gummy smile, and I've thought of getting gum contouring in the future, and I'm sure that a lot of people say, oh, Doreen, your smile is beautiful. Like, what are you talking about? You have a great smile, but this is just something personally I've noticed for myself. But yeah, that's just something for me to think about doing in the future. I first want to finish my Invisalign journey, which, if you guys don't know, I do have my Invisalign retainers in right now. I'm just going to talk about my first experience and give you guys kind of like the little rundown. So I do want to show you guys some before and after photos as well. I have a clip where I first got my Invisalign, and I just want to describe to you guys in that moment because it was so long ago. I got my Invisalign back in June of 2018, and I do have a little clip here if you guys are interested, just so it's fresh and I kind of talk about what's going on. As you guys can hear, I have a small lisp. I think that the lisp is gone now, but I still struggle with it sometimes. But let's just go ahead and roll that clip. Okay, can I get it? Okay. So today is my first experience with Invisalign, or my first day. Earlier when I put it on today, it didn't bother me at all. I don't feel like it affected my speech as much. But then throughout the day, as I'm wearing it, it's just getting more and more annoying. But it's fine because I've been wanting this literally for so long, so I'm really grateful. Even though it's annoying, I'm smiling through the annoyance and the uncomfortableness that it has, because this is something that I've been wanting for a really long time. So I'm appreciating the process. I'm not expecting it to be easy. I'm getting like a whole bunch of spit built up. And it's kind of cutting me. But it's okay. It feels pretty snug. It just feels like, I don't really know how to describe it. It just, as soon as I put it in, it just felt like it's just a lot of pressure on my teeth. As you guys heard, I was really struggling that first few hours of my Invisalign, but actually getting them on wasn't a problem at all. And I will get all into that stuff with the attachments later, but that first month I didn't have any attachments. It's just something that my dentist decided to do. Yeah, I'll talk about that later. But let's start with my consultation. So I actually went to 2 different dentist offices just because I wanted to get some different quotes and just to hear what they had to say. The first dentist office I went to, they took some x-rays of my teeth and my wisdom teeth, which they said they don't need to be removed. They don't seem like they're going to be bothering my teeth at all. And it's just not something that needs to be done. So I still have my wisdom teeth, and I haven't gotten any of that removed. They said I would probably have to wear my Invisalign for 4 months, which didn't sound very accurate to me, but I said okay. Then they said that it's gonna be costing me about $10,000 to do the treatment. And I was just kind of in shock about that. So I just left that office and didn't come back. And so then I decided to check out my local dentist office, and they did a consultation. They also took some x-rays. They talked about how the process would go, and they quoted me maybe around $4,000 with tax and everything. If I find the exact number, I'll pop it up on the screen just so you guys can get a very accurate price. And of course it will vary from dentist to dentist. Like I said before, I got quoted different prices, and definitely the treatments will be different as well. Not everyone's experience will be exactly the same. How Invisalign works is basically they will take a scan or a mold of your teeth, and they send it to a lab where they will make like a treatment plan. They will 3D print out trays, these plastic trays that you will change out every 2 weeks, and each of these trays is basically a perfect mold of your teeth with a little bit of shifting in between each tray. It's basically like moving it slightly a little bit each time until you have your perfect teeth and your bite fixed or whatever the problem may be. So you need to see if you're a candidate for Invisalign. And why I decided to go with Invisalign over traditional braces was that first, I thought that Invisalign, you wouldn't be able to see it. I wouldn't have to deal with going to the dentist as much. I only had to go to the dentist once a month. Changing out the trays, it would be easier, and I can take them out to eat. So I could basically eat whatever food I want. I just would need to take them out and clean them. And I'll get all to that later. I did experience a lot of problems with my dentist's office just because my orthodontist, the one who's in charge of like the braces and Invisalign, he would only come in once a month. And then if you couldn't be available or he couldn't be available or something would happen to that appointment, I would have to wait an entire month to see my orthodontist again. So that was a bit of a struggle for me, and especially starting out with the first visit. Basically how it went down was that they took scans of my teeth. That way they were able to make a 3D scan of my teeth on a computer, and then they were able to send it to the Invisalign facilities to make my trays. And after my trays were made, I experienced some problems with my orthodontist not being able to come in for the first month, so I had to wait a next month, and then again they couldn't take me in, so they said, okay, we'll just send you the first trays, just wear them with no attachments. So that's what I ended up doing, and they were okay. They were a little bit tight, and for the first few hours that I had them on, I did immediately notice a difference, that my teeth were somehow already pushed together. And I didn't have a problem with it other than a slight lisp, and then suddenly in the evening I felt that the back of the tray had been cutting my tongue and it was very sharp, so I just took a nail file and I just filed it down, and that seemed to work pretty well. I don't know why I had a sore throat too. I don't know if I had anything to do with that, but then as soon as I filed it down, the sore throat went away. I don't know what is the logic in that, but that's just something I noticed. Then the next month I got my attachments, which I didn't need to have attachments along all my teeth, only a select few. The trays were a lot tighter. Getting the attachments was not complicated, it just took a while, but it was okay. I would get around 3 to 4 trays every month, and every 2 weeks I would just change them out and throw away the old ones. So everything was going pretty well. The care and cleaning part of the Invisalign was a bit of a struggle, but I'm someone who definitely, especially if I'm paying a lot of money for a treatment like this, I want to upkeep with everything. I was first originally given these 2 cases. It was a red one and a blue one. And I would keep the blue one just at home, and whenever I had to brush my teeth, it would just be there. The red case would just always be in my bag, which would always be with me whenever I was going out or needed somewhere to store my Invisalign while I ate. The current case that I have now for my retainers is this little purple case that looks like this, and it's just a very basic case, but I like this one because it's a lot smaller than the other 2. And I do want to talk quickly about the Invisalign diet, which for me it didn't really work, but let's talk about the Invisalign diet. So basically the Invisalign diet is something that they say is because you have to have the trays in for 22 out of 24 hours a day, you can't be exactly snacking all the time. And it can get really annoying to have to brush your teeth all the time, so a lot of times you'll just end up eating less and therefore losing weight. But for me, that didn't really work. Since I didn't want to keep taking them out and brushing my teeth, whenever I would eat, then I would eat a lot, so I'd stay full until the next time I had to eat. So yeah, that didn't really work for me. I guess it could work for some people, but yeah, that's just my own experience with that. I'm going to talk about my last visit. So once I finished every 2 weeks changing out the trays for a whole year, I made an appointment with my dentist and was getting ready to remove the attachments and then take a mold for my retainer. So originally I was told that for the retainer, I would only need to wear it at night once I finished the complete treatment and just wear it at night for the rest of my life. I was told later by my dentist that I would need to keep it in for 3 months, the same way that I would use Invisalign, just 22 out of 24 hours a day. And then later on, I got a new orthodontist where he just said that I would need to wear it for a whole year and then only wear it at night. So I'm on that right now. Let's backtrack. When I had my very last visit, they had to take about 3 molds of my teeth because each time they would mess it up and it wouldn't get my back teeth. And so finally, when I got my retainer, they removed the attachments, of course, and that was a pretty simple process. They just had to grind them down and no issue. But I had to wear my last retainer because my old dentist, they kept having to reschedule, and always there was like family issues or car breaking down or all kinds of different things. And I'm a pretty patient person. I'm very understanding with stuff like that, but I had to stay with the same trays, the last trays that I was only supposed to keep them on for 2 weeks. I had to be with them for about 4 months. It was really hard to clean it all the time, and I really was not happy with that. But eventually my dentist switched over and they hired someone new, or I don't know how that whole thing worked, but they just gave me someone new to work with. They had someone do a mold of my teeth, the final mold, told me to stay with my last tray for 1 more month, so I said okay. My retainers, I got them in the mail because they had them shipped to me, and this is how it arrived, as you guys can see. So these were my old retainers, my original retainers, and they look like this. This is my bottom teeth. And as you guys can see, it's very, very thick, and it covers the gums as well. Let me show you guys the top one. So that's how my old retainer looked like, or the original one. I had a huge issue with this retainer because since it was covering up my gums, I had a really, really big lisp and I just couldn't talk normally. It was really a struggle, and these were also very, very loose. So my dentist just said to wear them for 1 more month, and they were gonna make me a new tray, and we talked about making me a custom tray that they wouldn't be covering my gums, and they would just basically have a scalloped edge along the top of my teeth while the inside just stayed like the original one was. So that way it would just be a stronger plastic but without having to cover my teeth completely. And so I had to wait for that one, and in the meantime my teeth did shift a little bit with the old one, and then after I got my new one, they didn't really fit properly. The way that they fit was basically that the front did and then the back would just stick out. So my teeth did shift in the back, but my dentist said just to keep wearing these ones, and eventually my teeth should shift back to the place that they were originally supposed to be in. And that's what ended up happening. Wearing it is pretty comfortable. Like, I don't really feel it. Like, I know it's there, but it's not anything that I'm bothered by at all. But I do have some tips for you guys with the cleaning. I do still brush my teeth after each and every meal, just because I don't like that buildup that you get if you don't. If you aren't able to in the moment, it's recommended for you just to swish around some water just to get rid of any food that's stuck between your teeth. But of course, it's just a lot harder to get it completely clean compared to if you brush your teeth. So a lot of times the trays will start to get a buildup of the grime, and the number one tip I have is to soak your Invisalign trays every week, I would say, in white vinegar. And that just basically kills all the bacteria and all the odor causing bacteria as well. I originally did brush my Invisalign with my toothpaste, and that seemed to get rid of any smell, because your mouth does start to build up a lot of bacteria, and especially with plastic trays, it can get really gross. To keep it clear and looking good and smelling good, I would just do the vinegar soak and then washing it with liquid soap, and that just seems to work so much better. Again, it's like cleaning plastic, so I would recommend to do that over the toothpaste. I also keep in my bag, let me show you guys, I do have 2 separate toothbrushes for my Invisalign, just so I can have like one to actually clean my teeth and one to clean my Invisalign. But I also have in one of my bags, I have a toothbrush and toothpaste that's like travel size that I just got from Target, and it just comes out and it looks like this. And then here's the little toothpaste that I use. So I haven't used this one in a while, but I do have it in my bag when I need to go somewhere, but because of the quarantine, I'm obviously not going anywhere. And yeah, that just stays in my little bag. And I just keep that in my backpack that I take everywhere with me. I also have in my bag these Colgate Wisp Max Fresh toothbrush toothpicks, and they look like this. They're basically these tiny little toothbrushes that I got at Target, and they look like this, and they have a little bit of toothpaste in this little bead in the middle, and you don't need any water or anything. You just brush your teeth and it cleans, and there's also a little toothpick at the end. So I would like using these when traveling, just because I hate having to ask people to move, especially if I'm sitting in a window seat or middle seat. I would hate having to get up, have to brush my teeth after every pretzel or peanuts or whatever airplane food I would get. It would just be really inconvenient, especially on a long flight. Really recommend getting these, and you can also use these even if you're not traveling and you just don't have access to water right in that moment. So you can just keep these in your bag and it's always good. So yeah, so my overall experience with Invisalign, I would say it's been pretty good, other than the problems occurring with the dentist, but that just has nothing really to do with the Invisalign. It would just be really inconvenient, and having to stick with the same trays was just really difficult, and especially with the timing of everything. Like, I thought that by now I would have already finished the whole treatment thing, but no one really told me with the retainer that I'll have to keep it on for longer. And I don't mind having to only wear it at night, but it's okay, it is what it is, and I'm trying my best to take very good care of my teeth and keep up with the process of everything just so it goes so much faster and smoother. Currently now with the coronavirus and there being a quarantine and a lockdown, my dentist office has closed, so I'm just staying with the same retainers and I'm just taking care of them as normal. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you found it helpful, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up so that way I know. And I'd love to hear all about your Invisalign experience, and if you can relate at all or are considering Invisalign, definitely leave me a comment down below and let me know. I love to read your guys' comments, and that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!